It's okay.
And we are live.
Catch some.
What's going on? You going to catch some over the wave. That's so weird. Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is JVS. We are back for another live discussion. I got the awesome Snow, JOR-ELS Alexandria. If you do not know their channels, go to the description bar below. Check them out. They got reactions, reviews, everything. And so we're back again talking about a show that we have yet to talk about together, which is really interesting. And I'm talking about The Flash. It's one of my favorite shows. JOR-ELS has binge watched his way up to the top, and he is set at the mark. And Imon has been a fan for a little while, so we're about to just go into it. The last episode that came out was episode 2 of season 3, and this was Paradox. And we're just going to go right into it. And we're going to try to keep it to around 15 to 20 minutes tops. So, all right, just bear with us. What did we think about Paradox? I mean, did y'all had any comments on Flashpoint before we talk about Paradox, or what?
About Flashpoint, yes, actually. But it's not negative, actually.
Okay.
But I lied. You guessed right. No, Flashpoint. I think the first immediate thing that comes to mind is that I think it's the weakest premiere. I thought it was a good episode. I gave it like an 8 out of 10. So I thought it was pretty great. However, it's the weakest for me, for sure. And I don't understand the whole concept around making flashpoints. This thing that when you were describing it, it was like literally bending my mind and shit. And they reduced it to 1 episode. Thought that was weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, to comment off of that, I think that's the reason why they named it Flashpoint Paradox. It's like, I feel like episode 1 and episode 2 they're one. Like, I mean, if they would have like taken that and made it a 2-hour episode, I think that's the reason why it kind of feels that way. But definitely, I can't not think about the first episode and the second episode together, because when I look at the movie, they have definitely reduced that whole story down a lot. You know, there's a lot that they really left out, unfortunately. But for a TV universe, the ramifications, like, I mean, I guess I'll go ahead and comment on last night's episode or Tuesday night's episode. I really enjoyed it because finally Barry is dealing with the ramifications of the things he's been doing. Me and Jarrell were talking back and forth. When is Barry gonna get it? He can't play God, you know. And somebody put it in his face, and he had to deal with those ramifications. That's why I loved both episodes, because they played off each other pretty well. If I looked at the first episode by itself, I see what you're saying. I didn't give it as high a rating as some of the other premieres, but I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about you, Amon? You got any thoughts on the first episode and then this episode?
Yeah, I liked the first episode because of Kid Flash. Like, I just really enjoyed Wally as Kid Flash, and I don't know, like, it was. I can understand, because after watching the Flashpoint Paradox movie, it's like there's so much obviously that happens. And then I guess with this episode, they kind of were showing that with Felicity when he went over there, and they were kind of like, oh, this happened, that happened. So I can understand. I feel like they were, I don't know what they were trying to do, just kind of put a little bit of information here and there, but they couldn't give us everything.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I enjoyed both episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think to comment off of that, they're spreading it out throughout all the shows. I feel like there's going to be a ripple effect that's going to show up in Legends of Tomorrow. I feel like there's going to be a ripple effect in Arrow. I'm not looking at the episode tonight, obviously, because we're doing this. But even in Supergirl, I feel like there's going to be a ripple effect that's going to affect everything. And they want to string it out as long as they can, not in a movie format, you know, but more so a TV format. And so I think that as time goes on, just like we saw with Connor Hawk, like now, like Diggle's son, who was a girl, Sarah, is now a boy. There's got to be other ramifications of things that happen. And now with Caitlin exhibiting powers, I mean, there's no telling. And I think I love that mystery side of it. And I didn't think that the Flash could surprise me anymore. I think that's the thing about it. I felt like there was no more secrets to be had, but now there's all these things that are bouncing off each other. For sure.
Okay.
For sure, man. I will.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So all right, let's go into the positives of this episode. What were some of your major positives? I mean, y'all have all seen the whole entire series up until this point. So what do y'all think about the positives of this episode?
Positives. Well, I do like that they're not like there's not a sense of a delay in terms of answers to some of our questions, I suppose. For example, we've already seen Dr. Alchemy like just already, so that was kind of cool. You know,
True.
we're not waiting like episode 15 to see him, or you know, Iris and why am I naming him Chris? Barry and Iris, them kissing at the end of the episode. It's like, okay, cool. It's kind of we're not waiting all this time to get there, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that because that's a huge, kind of random, but it's a huge issue I have with The Walking Dead. They just like delay things for so long. So it's nice to get things kind of immediately. Even similar to when Barry sort of breaks it to everyone. They just like, hey guys, I kind of fucked up the timeline. Again, sorry. So yeah, I liked that was a really big positive for me. And I don't know, the action was pretty cool. It's kind of weird that Barry already bumped into Dr. Alchemy, like already. Yeah. Which I have a theory about who that is, by the way. But those are the immediate positives that come to mind anyway.
Yeah. What about you, Iman? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I enjoyed, I was going to say I enjoyed their kiss, but it sounds weird saying it like that. I liked that scene. That was probably my favorite scene of the episode just because I love Barry and Iris. But yeah, I hated the fact that Cisco was depressed, though. I don't know if that was well, we're not talking about negatives, but I don't know. It's good. It shows his range of acting because he's like always upbeat, and then in this one he was just like super down and sad. I don't know. I like Wally. I just like whenever they show him because it's just he's just like fun. I don't know. He's like a fun character, I think. To me, he is. Like,
I didn't.
No, Sam's face.
Oh.
Sam was like, I don't know. I think he's like always like up for things. He's always like, all right, let's do this. All right, let's do that. So it's just fun to see him. And then, yeah, Draco was in this, and that's really cool. And, you know, I mean, Julian, he plays Julian. I don't know his last name. Yeah. And I'm very curious about who he plays, like what his role is, because he could be good or bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He already doesn't trust Barry. And there's a character by the first name Julian that has a different last name that, never mind, I'm not going to go into spoilers. Let's just say his character could go either way. And like you said, Gerard, I also got a theory about Alchemy, but I feel like he's what is that one guy that was to Thanos, the understudy, the guy that was kind of the mystical guy that was working with Thanos, but wasn't like the top head cheese that got killed in. Are
you talking about dude with the big ass hammer? That dude?
Nah, the other one, the one that was working with Thanos. I forgot his name. Whoever the wizard dude was working with Thanos. I think that Alchemy is working for somebody that's a little bit bigger. And the reason why I bring that up is because at the very end of the episode, there was somebody that grabbed, you know, Rival by the neck with some huge gauntlets. And that's the only reason why I think that. Because Alchemy has kind of been like getting into people's heads and then position him. I think for me, the whole episode, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I thought that I wouldn't because it wasn't that action packed. It wasn't that much really, you know, kind of happened, but it did. From an emotional beat, like what you said with Cisco, I enjoyed his range. I enjoyed him actually not just being the upbeat one and like seeing him at the gym talking about his dead brother and talking about Barry, like how he resented him for doing this and that. Seeing Iris and Joe not interact. I think they could have dragged it on a little bit longer, but even with that, the world around Barry was just crushing, from the inside out by his own means. And I think that I love that dramatic part. It wasn't just drama just to be drama. Like, we've seen what Barry has done. Like, he's learned his lesson one time, let his mom die. He's learned his lesson, going and stopping Zoom and doing what he had to do in spite of his dad dying. And then for him to reverse all that just to feel 3 months of heaven, it killed people. It changed lives. And you got to see that real weight that had on Barry, or Grant Gustin, how he performed it was awesome. Mm-hmm. Tom Felton being there, like, he's not just a Barry lover. And I'm interested to see where he's going to go with his character. I think he's got a lot of range, honestly. Everything about the episode I actually really enjoyed. I didn't see really any strong negatives, honestly. It was really weird because I was thinking that the first episode was going to be my favorite, but it wasn't. Like, I gave that maybe like an 8, but I gave this one a really positive number for my episode. But we can go into negatives, though. What do y'all think? Some negatives that y'all gonna think of?
Negatives. Let's see. Man, what were some of my gripes with this episode? One thing that definitely comes to mind is that I felt like a lot of the drama got sort of sucked out very quickly, even though the drama just arose. I thought that was really weird. Like, at the end of last episode, it was like, oh my God, Iris and Jill aren't speaking. And then this episode, it's like, oh, Cisco, he's mad at Barry, and not everyone's on good terms. And by the end of the episode, you could almost see most of the issues that arose are either resolved or they're getting real close to being resolved. Yeah. I thought that was a huge negative. You know what I mean? Especially since the premiere ended so ominously with the whole Iris and Joe thing, Like, oh my God, what did I do? When, like, at the end of this episode, basically, like, it's like gone already. Yeah. So I didn't really like that. I thought I don't know, they tried to end episode 2 kind of like in a pink little ribbon or something like that, but I thought that was kind of weird. I don't know that there's not too much that I disliked about it, but that's the first thing that comes to mind, at least.
Oh, okay. Amon, did you have any?
Yeah, when they ended the Flashpoint episode, I mean, I was so pissed. I was like, come on, Barry, again, you messed up the timeline. And it was, like, scary because at first you're like, okay, is Iris dead? Because it's like, oh, you're not supposed to talk about Iris. And then they're like, oh, well, they don't talk anymore. And so when they started up, when they were back in Star Labs, I did not expect to see Iris at Star Labs. I thought she was gone. Other people were like, the timeline has changed. It was Iris who lived with the mom the whole time, and it was Wally who was with Joe the whole time. Some people had commented, and, like, I was thinking that was how the timeline was going to be too. So it was just like, oh, okay, she's still here. Like, things changed, but not a lot changed. And so they just made it sound like she was not involved at all. Like, she hated her dad. And so that caught me off guard just a little bit, just to see her involved. I think that's my only real negative, though.
Yeah, I thought that am I coming in clear now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. I thought that the ramifications, at least so far, episode 2, were a little bit too subtle. Like, I was expecting something like really heavy with Iris, and just it was actually something like very slight. That's like already fixed.
Yeah.
I thought there was something else, but I think that was just the biggest issue. Also, I don't know if this counts as a negative, but I totally don't buy that Barry has seen the light and he's not gonna try to go back in time again. I really don't.
Oh no, absolutely not. If Iris died, hypothetically speaking, dude, he would go back in a heartbeat because he loves her undeniably. Like, there's no way he wouldn't go back and save Iris.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. One thing I didn't bring up, which is kind of still a positive, was what is his name? Oh my gosh. I forgot his name. Barry's dad. That's not his dad. It's
Jay Garrick.
Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
That Jay Garrick sequence.
That was really cool.
Really, instead of his dad, you know, it's kind of like the more sympathetic type. Jay is like straight to the nose, like, look, you can't play God. You need to do this. You need to do that, you know, and like, what are you going to be? What kind of man are you going to be? I love that sequence, you know, in general. But I think the down moment for me would be the only negative is that they dealt with the rival situation too quickly. I think that Alchemy building up an army slowly would have been a better progression instead of him just like ending him. But we didn't see, you know, rival get killed immediately, so we don't know. But to me, that would be the only negative. And honestly, I guess to comment of y'all's ramifications about the Irish situation, dude, like, I've gone through 2 seasons of this man pining over this woman. That's one thing I hate about the CW is they add drama just for the heck of it, you know, and I don't see any real systematic relationships to just let them work itself out. You know, like, all right, let them have a relationship and see if they can stand through each one of these episodes. That's one of the things that messed up with Arrow and Smallville and all those other shows. It's like, all right, once they've earned that point, give them the relationship and let's see where it goes. Because this now is officially their first time really getting together because Barry has messed up the timeline so much. I'm like, look, give this man some grace. You know, she doesn't need to die. Doesn't need everything happen. And so for me, I was happy with the simplistic moment of them kissing, them finally getting together. And I think that what Zoom did, and this is what I was going to actually ask y'all as a question, what Zoom did before bringing Barry back, when we see Zoom again, he was clean shaven. We don't know what he did from the time frame that he brought Barry back to the point where he left. He said that everything for me is good, but you're going to notice all these changes. And I think that, all honesty, with Zoom being in Legends of Tomorrow as an official villain and like him eventually going to be shown back up, we're going to see all those different branches of what he's done. And I think it's going to be to his own personal gain. And one of the things I was worried about was the question was, do y'all think that some kind of way he stopped Eddie from dying? Because that was the reason why he got taken out. Like in the original.
The Reverse Flash?
Exactly.
Oh.
The Reverse Flash initially, he died because Eddie got killed. And so when he brought Barry back, he said, look, everything's good for me now, but you're going to see all these ramifications of what happened. And I wonder, what did Zoom do in that amount of time of bringing Barry back? He had to have done something because it wasn't like he was still ragged or whatever and just brought Barry back. He did some other things while he brought Flash back. And so I'm wondering, what do y'all think that Zoom did? Or not Zoom, but Reverse Flash, I'm sorry.
I don't know. That's actually something I haven't even thought about, actually, surprisingly. What could he have done? Oh man. I don't know.
It's a good question.
That is a good question. I think that's funny. That's one thing I totally forgot about that dude. Man, what could he have done? I just got stumped. I think, I don't know. I mean, it could be him and Dr. Alchemy have some kind of connection that we're not seeing currently. Yeah. It could be that. I would find it very strange that Reverse Zoom, like let's say he walked past Dr. Alchemy. I would find it strange that he'd be like, who's this guy? So there could be a connection there possibly that I'm not seeing. I don't know. It could be something Earth 2 related. I don't know, actually. Yeah. I'm about to come back to you in a about that one because I'm not sure.
How about you, Iman? You got any theories?
I'm not 100% sure either. I just know he made a point to say that he messed something up. And he's so fast that he could have done 10 things, you know, and everywhere, like 1,000 things. You know, I don't know. Because in my mind, I was just thinking, oh, it's just the Iris situation. But it's got to be, it's probably, we're going to like, 5 episodes in or something, we're going to see something's going to come up. So it's a good question.
Yeah.
I hope it's something that, like, I don't know. I just feel like the ramifications so far are way too soft.
Yeah.
I think they need to, even though it sounds depressing, but they need to pile on something. Like Barry really needs to sort of almost like run into a brick wall, sort of realizing that, like, you really cannot keep going back in time. Honestly, God, no matter, even if Iris dies tomorrow,
Yeah.
something needs to really, like, I feel like that conversation between him and Jay, which, by the way, that really reminded me of Looper, by the way, people. But I just thought that in the restaurant, I feel like that wasn't enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what? What?
I just had a fangirl moment. Like that was so good. It was like Looper. Oh man.
You're the trip, man. Oh man. Y'all threw me all off. I had a thought and then it went.
He threw me off. That threw me off.
But yeah, he needs some deep. Oh yeah, another negative is that it's starting to get a little bit too familiar. It's getting too familiar. Like, let's get into some really diverse narratives, storylines.
Yeah.
It's feeling way too similar. Let's take the time travel aspect. Let's put that on the back burner, and let's get into some fresh storytelling.
Yeah, I think that's one thing about the show that I do notice, though. It's like the first season and the second season. In the very beginning episodes, really is not a lot that kind of happens. It's good ideas, but they don't unravel themselves until like episode 10 or like 9, And I think that's going to be the same trend for this season as well. I think that we're not going to figure out everything that happened with the Flashpoint until, at a certain point. But that's one of the things I think I love about the show. It's like, it's not like a movie. Like a movie, you get instant gratification. This show, it's like a slow burn, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if it started off really strong and then kept strong. I mean, but I just don't know, if this show is kind of built for that. But I mean, I love it regardless of the fact. And I think I enjoy the characters more than anything. I actually care about each one of these characters. What are y'all's theories on Caitlin? I think that'll be the last question I have, because we know that Kevin Smith, he's going to be directing episode 7, and the name of that episode is going to be Killer Frost. We know that Caitlin's mom was a very abusive and messed up mom. They had that interesting conversation when they were both locked up in Zoom's lair or whatever. But what Caitlin do we have? Do we have a evil Caitlin that, is pretending? Do we have a Caitlin that is normal, that's teetering on evil? Or do we have a Caitlin that's normal, she just got powers? I really feel like the latter more than anything, but I don't know. What do y'all think about Caitlin?
There's two things, but I'll attack the thing about Caitlin first. I have an answer to your question about the reverse Flash. I actually saw something, but as far as Caitlin, damn it, what was the question again?
Okay, given what her she she got powers now, right?
Yeah.
But like, based on what we know from Killer Frost, she built into that kind of character. It wasn't like she was just all the way bad all the way from the beginning. Like, she worked into being a bad character later on. So do you think that the Caitlin that we have is somebody that's an imposter that is kind of like pretending to be good and is really evil? Or do you think she's teetering on being good and evil?
I think she's good. I think. I could be totally wrong. I thought that the reveal of her having powers was awesome. And it definitely didn't. There was something about her body language that told me that she ain't told nobody personally. Yeah. At least that's how I just personally took it.
Yeah.
So I don't know about her being evil. I mean, it's possible. It seems kind of a little bit on the nose since she was evil in Earth 2 last season, But I mean, it's certainly possible. I would say probably not.
Yeah.
But it's possible she could have done something fucked up with her powers that she didn't mean to.
Yeah.
That's definitely possible.
That's true.
So, I mean, that could play into why she hasn't told someone about her powers as well. So,
yeah,
they could play that angle. Yeah.
What about you, Amon?
I do think she's good. I think that she's just probably figuring out that she's got powers and she maybe just doesn't know how to say it to her friends, because they all have a really hard time with telling each other the truth, and even though they've known each other for years. And but yeah, it's just, I think she's good, and I think it's interesting because there was a scene, I think at the end, where Barry was saying that how everyone from the Flashpoint timeline was going to have like their powers back. So like there's going to be metahumans on their timeline that are going to get those powers back. So, and then the camera went to Wally. So he's probably going to become Kid Flash again. Mm-hmm. So it looks like everyone on the team has some sort of powers now, because now there's Killer Frost, which I don't know why, if her name will be Killer Frost, if she's good.
Yeah, that's why I brought that question up, because
good point, Sam. Damn.
I'm thinking honestly, personally, that not she's got like a split personality, but I think that something, you know, when Ronnie died, how like she was so down and out. Like, what if she didn't have the nurturing that she needed? Or what if like something happened, even when she was with Zoom for the time that she got kidnapped, that part of her mind was like, you know what, maybe he is right, you know? So we really don't know all the different moments that we've known from the series. That's why I love this episode. They could have all been altered. They could have been all tempered. And I think that from a writer standpoint, it's genius, because every moment that we've seen that we knew that Barry was there or something good happened to build these characters into something more, they might not have happened in the same way. Case in point is that now we realize that it wasn't just Earth 1 that got affected. Earth 2 did. Look at the preview. Like, Jesse now has super speed. So we've got the Earth 2 that was also affected. So I mean, anything could kind of go down. I think I love that about this season more than anything, especially Wally. Like, I'm interested. I think Wally's got his powers on the low too.
Oh, you think so?
I think he's hiding them. I don't know why, but I feel like when he was like, "We got to do something about it," I was like, "Okay, why are you gonna say that, Wally? If you can't do anything?"
Can I say one thing actually?
Yeah.
Okay, there was one scene, because now that might make sense. You know, when they're all at the table and he's invited everyone to have dinner and everyone's like pissed.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, we gotta go, metahuman alert." The only person who was sitting at the table was Wally. He was the last person. He didn't move. And that was weird. So maybe you're right. Oh man, I'm getting excited.
Maybe. Well, wait, there was one thing.
Oh Lord!
One thing I was going to bring up about what's his name, the Reverse Flash. I actually do have a theory. It was just generated, but hey, I have one nonetheless.
Okay.
I think that's this would be a great thing if this happened. Anyways, maybe more than a theory. But what if like Reverse Flash, he has like one of the people closest to Barry like is a plant. Like they've been totally altered. Like let's say Cisco, for example. Let's say Reverse Flash was like, I will go back in time to, save your dumb brother if you do this to Barry at this particular point in time.
Kind of like they did with Harrison Wells, kind of?
Right, yeah. Except this time, there's no kind of Harrison Wells turning good. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, do this to Iris and then I'll give you your brother or something like that. So it could be possible that one of them is actually kind of a plant in that sense, because that would actually be a very dark twist, particularly if the person follows through with the act, whatever it is, harming Iris, Joe, whatever. Because it can't be something obvious like, oh, well, let's just take Barry's powers away, because we've already been down that route, So it has to be something a little bit freak people out.
Yeah. I think the darkest
that'd be some serious shit.
The darkest thing that would ever happen to me on this show is if they killed Joe. Like, straight up. Like, if Joe got killed, man, I would be crying. Because Joe has been a dad to Iris, to Wally. Like, I mean, he is the dad figure. I mean, as much as, Barry's dad was there, Joe has always been there for him, Even like when they don't even know each other like that, or whatever these parallel universes, he's always that central focused dad. And if like that was the last link of like parental, like need that Barry had, and he died, man, I'd be gone. Like, I really would. Like, him and Iris would be so out,
Wow.
So I mean, if he ever died, like I don't even know what I would do. Straight up, that's how I
You're gonna
felt.
riot.
For the story, it would work because it would hit me. And as soon as you can get me to care about a character and you off them, that's why Game of Thrones got me hooked. But that's another story. We'll go into that later.
That's funny. It would be a slight reverse for me. I think if they killed Iris, that would be huge for me because that's one thing I think that they're afraid to do, and that would just blow me away because the effects that it would have on Barry is like unprecedented. You know what I mean? For the whole group, but kind of just seeing Joe and Barry specifically having to come to terms with that, and Barry just couldn't change it. That would be like, that would blow my mind. Literally.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if Virus ever did die, and like Wally still actually had powers, I think that Barry would literally stop being the Flash. I think he would stop. I think he would be like take his time and leave, and Wally would have to take up the mantle. And I think that would be a really good execution from a plot standpoint because eventually Wally is supposed to be the Flash. I mean, if history serves right, I'm not saying they should kill Barry Allen, but I mean something like that would provoke him to probably take down the cow. But anyway, that's a whole other. We're going deep into this.
Going deep.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, man, my man Harrison Wells is about to be back.
My man Harrison Wells.
Man, the
wow.
man. That is like the triple. I love that man. Straight up, like the best. I don't even know if I told you this, Mom, but the best actor on the show for me.
Me too. My favorite character. Everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, he is so. His acting is so good. Like he's literally just leaps and bounds above everyone in terms of acting. Damn. I think he's like 50 or something.
Is he? I mean, he looks great. I don't know what he's doing. Him and Keanu Reeves doing really well.
Yeah, Keanu. So what are y'all's thoughts of the next episode? And we'll just end this out.
Well, I think I caught the preview a little bit. For some reason, my channel froze for a second, so I missed a little bit of it. But it seems like I guess they're going to be interacting with Earth 2 again. Apparently.
Yep.
So, do you mean like theory wise?
Dang, man, this dude's 52. Gosh, dog.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Which one?
Tom.
He is.
Kavanaugh. Yeah, dude's 52 years old. That dude's spry in his shape, man.
Wow.
That dude's a beast.
He is. I give it to him, man. But no,
wow.
What happened was that he came through the portal and he was telling Barry that like he had a problem, and then all of a sudden Jesse shows up. She's got powers. If you don't know, Jesse Quick is an actual character, and that it unfolded on itself. And it was interesting because the particle accelerator, I don't think it created her. I don't know if it's the moment when Barry, tried to get his powers back, and they both, Wally and her, got affected. I'm not sure. But yeah. So I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on the next episode and closing thoughts?
Stop going back in time and keep it fresh, please. Bring us some new storylines, please. It's starting to feel. I mean, it's been really good, but it's starting to feel way too similar to what's past, like real close. So just bring us some fresh blood in terms of the story, and I think that's about it so far. No major issues so far. It's been good.
Keep moving forward, like Luke Cage said. All right, Maya, what you think?
I agree. I agree with that completely. Just no more going back in time, and no more Barry crying about something else. I'm sorry. Oh, we just always like crying about something. It's not the fastest man alive anymore. And anyways, just want him to look forward, go forward, don't cry. Harrison Wells is back.
Thank God.
Yes. And Wally needs to just become Kid Flash like tomorrow, so I can see him fast again. I just really enjoyed that. But yeah, I love The Flash. This is a good show.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I think it's the only feel good show that I watch currently.
Me too.
So, everything else I watch is so violent or so dark. It's just very bizarre. But so it's a nice change, you know.
That's good. It brings a little bit of light to your life. I think for me, I want to see Wally and Jesse rekindle some romance going on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Because they definitely were like liking on each other. Wally didn't expect to see her anymore. And it'd be interesting with her dealing with her powers if he was kind of keeping some powers secret. I think that she would be a really good confidant to bring that up. Now, if she does have power, she can go back and forth anytime she wants to. So I think I want to see that interaction more than anything. I want to know who's Alchemy working for, because I don't think he's working by himself. And to what end is he trying to do?
Reverse Flash, probably.
That would be interesting.
I'm sure he is.
But that's my closing thoughts. What did y'all give this episode rating wise? And then we'll close out.
I think I would probably give it. I'd probably give it like a 7. I thought it was good. I don't know that I was like, oh wow, this is great, but I think I'd give it like a 7. It was a good time for sure.
Yeah, I did an 8 out of 10.
Nice. I probably gave it the highest rating. I gave it like a 9.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it because I think for me, as I said, I've waited to see these characters become, you know, the mythological characters they're supposed to be. And some kind of way they were in a short amount of time were able to create a certain kind of scenarios to line things up like they needed to. Kind of like they're doing with the DC Rebirth, like rehashing everything, making something happen, and then pushing it out in a way that can rely on the mythology of the DC characters that they're supposed to be, you know, and at the same time, make me think like what happened here. I think more than anything, I like the dramatic effect that it had on me. But yeah, so that's my thoughts. But everybody, like I said, go to the description bar below. Check out Iman Snow. Check out JOR-ELS Alexandra. We will try to do this as much as we can. We're not going to promise anything because Walking Dead is coming back soon, and we don't know when we'll try to do discussions for that. So all I can say is when we can, we will try to do more Flash discussions. If y'all enjoyed it, definitely leave a like. Definitely go and check out these people's channels. And anybody got anything else?
No.
We are out like a flash, y'all. Peace.